We are here with Sally Ashworth, who is the Executive Director of Visit Lake Norman. So welcome to the program, Sally.
Thank you for having me today.
As somebody who was completely unfamiliar with Visit Lake Norman and didn't know what it was, could you explain it to them? How would you describe it?
Well, I often say that Visit Lake Norman is a coat of many colors. I think about that song quite often, but the very first key area that we focus on is bringing in national, regional, and state events to the area. That right there is what we are all about in stimulating our economy. When we bring in events, that means that we actually bring dollars into the area. So that is our main focus, is bringing in national, regional, and state events to the area.
And one example of something that a big event that you do.
A large event that we're known for are our bass tournaments.
Okay.
Our largest resource is Lake Norman, the water, the 526 miles of shoreline. That is our recreational resource along with our parks. But we bring normally about 6 to 9 national bass tournaments in the region a year. Yeah. We normally, we come out of Blythe Landing, but it touches on all 3 towns as far as those overnight accommodations. And that's what we focus on. We look, when we start targeting events in the area, we look at the list of the anglers or the guests that are coming into the area, and we look to make sure that it's about 80 to 90% out-of-town guests coming to our area to stay in our hotels, eat in our restaurants, and visit our retail stores.
Do you have a sense of how much revenue that's bringing into the area, like how big of an economic impact it is to have these big events in Lake Norman?
We do. We actually have the formula, and it is nationwide. As far as the visitor spending in 2008, we had an impact as far as the state is $16.9 billion in visitor spending. And then we look in our area as far as Lake Norman, we partner very closely with Charlotte, and we use a dollar amount. We do $100 per person, whether they're staying in our hotel, and hopefully they are staying right near where that location, just like when I alluded to with the bass tournament with Blythe Landing, they're normally in our hotels here.
They want to be close.
So we actually, that's how we target those economic dollars in calculating how important it is to Lake Norman.
Now, what about a resident, though? Now, you're talking about bringing outside guests in. How do you interact with the local residents? What are some of the resources provided there?
That's a great question. We operate a visitor center as well. Currently, we are located in Cornelius on Catawba Avenue in the area with the Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce. However, we operate that visitor center for our local visitors, our local family, friends that are coming in. Relocation is a huge part of our visitor center, and our traffic normally is right around 30 to 40 people a day walking in, and those are mixed visitors as far as people that live here on the lake or around the surrounding areas, as well as outside visitors.
Yeah, I noticed there's a lot of great resources in there that even somebody that lives in the area, you've got the restaurant guide, and you've got information about other areas of the state where people might want to go on vacation, and gifts, t-shirts, and books, and a lot of great stuff for local residents.
We certainly do, and we really focus on those type of needs. When you walk into our visitor center, we have an area for exclusively Lake Norman. And just like you were speaking, Jennifer, about the local restaurants, the parks, we feature especially our hotels, because that is one of our most valuable resources. Again, bringing in overnight accommodations is the way that we are funded. Public dollars of the accommodation taxes, we do get a percentage of that. But going back into the visitor center, we focus, or we showcase our Lake Norman area. We have another area of the state where we have other destinations that if you and your families wanted to go to Asheville or to the Outer Banks or to the mountains, we have all those pieces of information that our volunteers that help us every single day. And matter of fact, I have to say, that is those volunteers and our interns operate our visitor center every day. Our staff is in the back working on those national and state and regional events.
And those are from local schools? You bring in students? Or?
We do.
Okay.
For our internships, we do bring in students from the Davidson College area, UNC Charlotte. We also have from Virginia Tech this summer. We've got one from Virginia Tech. So we've been very, very fortunate.
And it's quite large. I mean, I've been in there. There is a lot of information in there. Walls
yes,
of information.
Now, it's co-located with the Chamber of Commerce, but you are not part of the Chamber of Commerce. Can you explain how that works?
How you all got started? Yeah.
Yes,
what's the
and
relation?
I would like to have a dime for every time people have asked us as far as are we part of the Chamber of Commerce? We work closely with the Chamber of Commerce, but we are our own organization, just like the Chamber of Commerce is theirs. We have our own board of directors. We have our own staff, which there are 4 of us currently on our staff, but we do share some marketing aspects, just like we share marketing aspects with LKN Savings, with other partners. But I think that the conception there, we laugh about it because it doesn't really matter to us, and it certainly doesn't matter to our visitors. When they walk in, they don't see those territorial lines as far as Cornelius, Davidson, and Huntersville. They only are coming in there asking us about the region and what they are interested in coming to see or coming to do.
And you mentioned too, you started talking about how you're funded. So how does that structure work? You mentioned the hotels.
Back in when we were created by the Chamber of Commerce back in 2001, they were receiving accommodations taxes through the 3 towns. And then when we were created and then we were separated into our own organization, we started receiving those type of dollars, but it's a percentage of those accommodation tax dollars and a percentage of the restaurant, the food and beverage tax that Visit Lake Norman receives as far as the public funding and how we operate our organization.
And so those dollars, are they all going towards planning events, or how does that all work for someone who doesn't really know the structure?
That's a great question. We do have most of those dollars tied up in marketing because again, that is our core of our organization, is marketing, whether it's visitors coming into our area, which is the very first key role. However, whenever there's family living in our area and our real estate agents are coming in needing relocation information, we offer and service that too.
Okay.
Now, in terms of what you're seeing for how the economy is doing in this area, I mean, you mentioned the $16.9 billion, which sounds like a huge amount of money. How does that compare to the past? Are we kind of stable? Have we suffered at all in the current economic environment?
Well, I'll tell you, as far as the insulation in North Carolina, Charlotte, Lake Norman, we have been very, very fortunate because we have been insulated. We certainly are seeing those numbers decline in our hotels right now.
The occupancy rates.
Our occupancy rates, our average daily rates, we are seeing those declining. However, I don't, by the national numbers that we currently receive, we see that it has not impacted us as much as it has other states.